Hello, everyone, and welcome to the North American Bear Center. It is 12:30 right now, which means it is time for our daily broadcast. So usually during this time, we will bring out a bear and bring out some enrichment for our bears. But this time of the year, it's a little bit different for us this year. All of our bears are in their personal enclosures right now, and that's how we're going to have them for probably the following season, and that's just because we have some tree work to do here in the impersonal or in the main enclosure. So once again, you won't be seeing any bears out here in this main enclosure today, but I will talk a little bit about the tree work we have going on, and then we also have some fence work coming up in the spring. So if you look out in this main enclosure, you're going to notice that we have a lot of dead trees. A lot of the spruce trees or the fir trees, they're the brightly orange colored ones kind of in the understory you can see. Those trees have actually been affected by what we call spruce budworm. So typically it's a moth, but when they're in that larval stage, the worm stage, they will cause the disease like you see, and it typically kills the fir or spruce tree. So when they are dead like that, they become very dry. And they become a fire hazard. So I'm sure as many of you might remember, we did have fires pretty prevalent in the Ely area last year. We had a really bad drought that we went through. This year's a little bit different. We've gotten plenty of rain, and it is, in fact, sprinkling a little bit right now. So fire isn't really an issue at the moment, but these dead standing trees will become an issue if there ever is a fire near Ely again. But it's not only the spruce budworm that is affecting our main enclosure and our trees around here. So you can also see a lot of these tall white trees with the green leaves still on top. Those are aspen trees, more specifically quaking aspen. But those trees are also looking a bit rugged. They're looking a little bit dead and dry. Those ones are affected by another disease, and that is called white trunk rot. More specifically, it's affected by a fungus, usually a phalinus fungus. So what will happen with those is when the spores are released from that fungus, they will actually find a way into the tree to make it diseased by some sort of scarring that the tree has had. So that is commonly around here in the Ely area. And northern Minnesota in general, a lot of these older aspen trees that you see are quite dead looking. If they don't get harvested by their usually 40-year-old mark, they are more succumb to those diseases. So when those trees do get affected by the white trunk rot, they will become very punky on the inside. They may make great homes for things like woodpeckers, or raccoons and other things that may nest in like tree cavities, but once again, they do become a fire hazard and also just a hazard in general because a lot of these aspen trees that you can see have really thick branches and trunks. So if those ever do break off, it could potentially hurt one of our bears or the guests or our staff here because when those fall down, they can be quite heavy and may cause somebody some damage. So like I mentioned, we're going to work on getting a lot of these problematic trees out. So hopefully, once it's done, our enclosure here and the areas surrounding the fence will look more pleasing to the eye and will also be much more safe for our bears and our people here at the Bear Center. So another thing, if you look over to the right, our food shed, today was Meadow Day here at the Bear Center, so you can see our staff all have matching sweatshirts, including myself. This sweatshirt is once again meadow colored, so we all planned our matching Meadow Day. So you can find that sweatshirt at the Bear Center gift shop. It is a very breezy and light and comfortable sweatshirt. So our staff here do a great job of selling it. Speaking of colors and trees, you can also notice that trees around Ely and here in our enclosure are starting to change. It is the first part of fall here, so you can see that a lot of our trees are turning colors. This commonly attracts people to the Ely area because they are quite stunning. Now, a lot of the trees that are changing this early in the season are the ash trees and the maple trees. So typically, the maple trees are going to be the ones that are the bright reds and orange, and then the ash trees and other aspens are going to be the yellow coloration. And then a lot of times when you see browner understory, that's actually the ferns dying back. So, like I mentioned, a lot of the leaves and things are dying back. So there are some spectacular fall colors out. So if you haven't done a drive yet around the Ely area, we highly recommend that you do that to get some good photos. I am going to wrap up this broadcast by saying thank you to everyone for either coming here to the Bear Center or for those of you who tuned in online. If anybody here at the center is interested into learning more about our center or tuning into this broadcast, we try to do them daily at about 12:30, so same time. But they do kind of trail off towards the end of the season as our bears become less active. And like I mentioned, with the upcoming maintenance we have around here, we won't have bears out in this main enclosure for probably until the next spring or this coming spring. So we will be talking about a couple different things during these broadcasts. So I hope you enjoyed this. And if anybody at the center has questions, feel free to find anybody inside with a red vest, and we'll be happy to answer any questions or thoughts you have. And if you're not familiar, we do have this broadcast. You can interact on the pond cam. We have moderators that are on there 24/7 and can answer any questions you have if you're online. So once again, thank you, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.